Easy, how are we?
Shawnee, what's happening?
Nothing much. I had this big, elaborate celebration today for the intro of this week's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast for you, Rachel, who is not here with us right now today because she is celebrating her birthday down under. So, our last episode of the year, Rachel's not here, but we do. Before we want to start this week's episode of the podcast and the last episode of 2021, I do want to give a big shout out on Rachel on behalf of myself and Eric. Though Eric, you can speak for yourself in a second. Rachel's contribution to the podcast. It is a birthday. We're not just being nice because it's been her birthday, but it has been phenomenal. We've had some pretty cool guests on the podcast in the last couple of weeks with the women's sports episodes. We're going to be talking about some of our popular guests and episodes of the podcast throughout the year. And some of her numbers and the downloads I was looking at before this podcast started have been pretty huge. One in particular, she did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Molly Han, and it was a huge spike. Molecules, they're talking about mental health disorder and all the rest from there. She was a cartoonist. It's a really, really cool story. Well, cool is probably not the best way of putting it, but really interesting story, really interesting podcast. If you have not listened to it, listen to it. But Rachel, shout out to you. It is your birthday. The big elaborate celebration stuff I had for you for the start of the podcast. You're not getting it because you're not on the podcast today. But if you are listening, happy birthday to you.
I'm sure she will be listening in anyway. But yeah, we gave her the day off. But well deserved, Rachel. Happy birthday.
Of course, we're such nice people giving her the day off of this highly paid podcast episode. And with that said, let's get straight into today's episode of the Any Given Runday podcast. Okay, so there's a couple of firsts for the first time ever in Any Given Runday podcast history here. So after the intro you just heard there, we recorded the podcast and we got a bit serious, to be honest with you. And we were just like, talking the year and all the rest. It was just a bit like, it was a bit too serious. And, I had a couple of tears in my eyes talking about stuff from years back and all the rest. And it was just, we finished wrapping up our 25 minutes. I was like, that wasn't one of our best shows in the world, but it's done. Fair enough. When I watched my 49ers play and midway through the second quarter and this awful thing happens to my 49ers team, I was like, what worse happened? And Eric texted me. I'm like, I forgot to put the phone on Do Not Disturb. And he's like, I'm not happy with that episode of the podcast. It's a Christmas show, man. We should lighten up a little bit. Go ahead. Because after all, we did this podcast for just to 4 different guys we started with just to go out there and, run marathons, which sounds serious, but it was more just about doing things and doing sport and just getting out there. And, we call ourselves a runner now that we didn't embrace ourselves for a long time saying, oh, I'm a runner, but you don't need a degree or certificate to be a runner. But it was just a case of, I can run, I want to do this. And we were talking about our goals and stuff. We got really serious. But the thing is, my goals have changed. It's just I want to do trail running, different things now from stuff we learned. But I went really, really deep and shitty on it. And I wasn't too happy when I did. I just wanted to watch the game. But it's midway through the third quarter. The 49ers scored. I'm happy. I'm going to shut up talking. You go talk about your perspective of what just happened in that podcast.
Yeah, it started off all lighthearted. No, it was good. And look, it is Rachel's birthday, so we said we can wish Rachel happy birthday and then go on rants. But I think obviously we haven't talked about these stuff because Rachel's been doing her series, so we've been off the soapbox for a while, and I think it just came back. But it's Christmas. It's time to have fun, kick back. I've already planned out my dinners, my Baileys, my beers. I've got everything sorted. And of course, my Christmas runs, because this is the time, Sean, to get pre-January almost fit. Don't let the fat attack me too much. It's brilliant. I love this time of year. I'm finishing up in work next Wednesday, bar a couple of on-call days at home. There's less Baileys, less beer, obviously. But it's still a nice time to actually just reflect. And we went on it. We started with that and then went further. But you know what? It is a good time to reflect. Not everything is going to be a good year, bad year, indifferent year, but we're here now. It is Christmas. It is a time to kind of appreciate all the good that's happening. I really want to thank everyone who's been on the show this year, because it has been brilliant. It has been amazing. We've met some phenomenal people along the way. Everyone who has done anything this year has listened to our podcast and got out there and tried something new, or stepped on, just put on the runners, got onto a bike this year, has done amazing. We have had some brilliant shows. Some of our shows spiked, and I really enjoyed the last 6 weeks. where Rachel's Women in Sports series has been on. We've had everything from Olympic athletes to cartoon artists who have advocate athletes themselves. They are athletes, and it's amazing who we've had. We've had Dara on, who raised so much money for great causes, running 120 kilometers, who allowed us to be part of his journey. We've had Ozzy on, who was one of our first back on. It was another great episode where he was telling us about how he's transitioned into training now, having a little fella on them, and how they're managing life, training, and all that can get in the way. And it's episodes like that that really resonate with people, and that's what it's all about. And that's we shy talk to 100 people a week, but it's amazing to just see that everyone has a story. And I suppose our interviews are trying to get across to everyone that you're part of a bigger story of people who are just doing their best. And it's so good that we've made it here at the end of the year, and just be easy on yourself and enjoy it, and look forward and set realistic goals.
Yeah, I think it's just a case everyone starts from somewhere, and we've had a lot of interviews where people are talking about, you just mentioned Ozzy there, how I only saw a picture of him recently doing, he was a rugby player and stuff in the past. I think Louisa put up something like, whoa, that was Ozzy. My God. He's a big, stocky man, but great for rugby and stuff like that. But, seeing him now doing running and all the rest, it's like, but just, I suppose it's Christmas. Be easy on yourself. And I have people in the gym now and they're going, geez, my weight and stuff is staying the same. Like, yeah, but you're turning up. You're getting sessions in, you're getting a bit stronger, you're doing 3-4 sessions a week, whatever it is, and you're keeping that consistency. If you could do that now and have your few beers and enjoy life and everything else going on and all the rest, and manage that, and then January you're like, okay, I still managed to enjoy life and do whatever. Now I can just get a little bit more training and build that up. But it's consistency. And we've always said, if you're not enjoying what you're doing in terms of the gym, like me and you are advocates for running because we do it. You're more triathlons. And we had a podcast a couple of months ago where I was like, the worst thing I could ever do was jump into a sea. I'm like, that's not happening. My ankles freeze. That's genuine. My ankles just go cold. So I'm not going to say never doing triathlons because God knows what's around the corner.
Ozzy, if you are listening, we're not saying you're skinny rat and you're an animal. You're a beast, right? Just to clear that up for any of our listeners. He's lifting 100%. Big. He's been doing a program. The most consistent man in diets and workouts. He is an animal. I just want to clear it up because I know he listens and he always gives us good reviews. But Sean, we're here now. It's Christmas. I'm excited. It's been an up and down year for everyone, but it's amazing. We're here. I can't wait. I'm hoping there's loads of little stocking fillers. I hope we've got after last week's episode. It's kind of hinting at the folks there. I was like, you should listen to last week's episode there. We've got a few good gifts lined up. And hopefully
I hope your mother has a Fitbit for you. I hope you got a Fitbit for Christmas.
You know what? If anyone gets a Fitbit for Christmas, let me know. I want to send you a with sympathy card because you are going to suffer for the next year. It's Fitbit are going to sue me. I'm going to be in the court.
What do you got against Fitbit? Like, actually, what do you have against Fitbit? Like, the starter,
I bought one. I bought a Fitbit.
Your one lasted a month. You didn't look after it. You don't look after what you have.
It lasted a month.
You don't look after it. Mine lasted me 2 years.
How do you look after it? It's on your wrist. What do you mean look after it? Do I need
What do you mean not look after it?
Bring it. I did bring it on a walk. It's not a Tamagotchi. It's a watch. It just sits on your arm and it's supposed to work. This thing was in bits like a box of Lego after a month. I wasn't even doing anything wild. It was running. And the thing, you'd knock it off a door and that's it. It's gone. So
that's not looking after it.
And even my mom if I'll be knock it off something, but my mom just does her tidy downs and this. She had a Fitbit, and the amount of times I come home, Eric, would you just have a look at this for me? This is doing, God. Yeah, just open the window there. Why? I'm going to poke this thing out of it. I hate it. But anyway, so I bought Mum a Garmin last Christmas because I stopped that conversation of me having to come home and fix problems with Fitbit. Anyway, nothing against it. But
how'd your mum find using the Garmin? Because I'm genuinely interested. I know people in the podcast love it. Because my mom has a Fitbit and she still loves it.
Listen, it's great for what it does, but my mom really likes the Garmin now because she is focused on her heart rate a lot more, and she's finding it's more accurate, whereas the Fitbit was a little bit more sporadic, and she's really enjoying it. She likes how it's actually more like a watch, The face of it looks like a watch as well. So it's just that little bit extra in a bigger company, and she's really enjoying it. She's really enjoying it. She has the yoga set on her watch as well. So, she feels cool starting her watch before the yoga. So she gets that inclusive one. So, but again, it's a system to, I don't know, keep you accountable. It keeps you going out. I'd be checking in on our Garmin Connect, going, "Oh, ma'am, didn't hit your 10,000 steps today." It's little bits of fun like that. But again, it's been a big year for ma'am. I'm proud of my ma'am. Ma'am was, I won't disclose her weight, but ma'am was a weight at the start of the year, and has managed to shed off about nearly 2 stone, I think, by the end of the year. So there's little wins like that going, and she was coming into the Phoenix Park with us on a Sunday, and I think like that as well. It's just something that I think people should take forward is routine. Routine is king, and if you can attach on to anyone who has a good routine, just go with them, because eventually just showing up turns into a good workout, and it's and Mam's really enjoyed it. The winter months now, not so much. I know where I get my fair weather athlete from. It's definitely Mam. Not a fan of a cold run in Phoenix Park. Not gonna lie. I'm a treadmill and turbo from now until probably May.
Yeah, you've probably done more gym sessions in the last month or two that you've done all year.
Yeah, it's gym time. It is gym time. I'm 10 kilos heavier than I was 4 months ago, and it's beautiful. It's really it's more my natural weight when I'm doing all the cycling run. It's hard to keep the weight on. It's next to impossible. But it's nice. It's nice to be at my cruising weight now and lifting big. But it's been a great year, and Sean, we've had amazing guests. I don't think I can say it. I can say it 10 times over, and I don't think they realize how great and how influential they are in the random listens we have. And it all comes down to the naming of the podcast as well. We named one Your First Triathlon, and it had a huge spike.
Yeah, that was a huge one, and that was one of those where I was probably really quiet because I didn't know a whole lot about it. But that was pretty cool. Like before, you labelled them the Irish David Goggins, and we had Conor Jameson on, and I see his workouts and the stuff he posts up all the time. It's insane the level he's gone at with the CrossFit Open Games. And
Conor's really gone from strength to strength, and he's one of those influential people that doesn't take himself seriously. He respects other people's opinions about working out and their abilities as well. And he's just encouraging. He's just a positive guy that wants people to do better for themselves, and is one of those people that will bring you along with him by just being him and just having his own discipline. And it is great. There's so many good ones, and we're not finished yet. There is a new year coming, and that's the beauty of it. We're taking a short break for Christmas. We've been on every Monday and the occasional Thursday for the last year, so it's time for us to let people just enjoy themselves and stop listening to us. But we will be back probably second week of January. We'll give people the new year kind of bank holiday without having to listen to us.
Well, that was one of our goals. We talked about setting goals, and one of the podcast goals was, because the first year we did it, you went to Alabama, we had that break in the Monday because we had a lot of Zoom issues and all the rest, and we just didn't know what we're doing with this podcast, to be honest with you, because the original plan, if you listen back to the early episodes compared to now, you're like, hang on, this thing sounds a lot different. But we had like 4 different people with 4 different marathon journey goals, and the plan was to do 3-4 different marathons a year. And of course, a small thing, I don't know if people heard about this, maybe they haven't, the COVID-19 pandemic kicked in. And spanner to the works. Obviously, it's ruined people a lot worse than it has ruined this podcast. But at the same time, we switched up, changed things, we had little gaps and stuff. But the one thing this year was, just like our training and everything else, was just stay consistent, try and have different guests on, or just, the 3 of us with Rachel. Rachel's done a phenomenal job with the Women's Sports Series, and especially the last couple of weeks, she's really taken the podcast pretty much by the horns and taking over. It's been phenomenal, because there's only so much people who listen to the 2 of us.
Yeah, it is. But we're getting books for Christmas, though. We will know so much more in January. You'd think me and you would buy each other books for Christmas. Both bought each other a mug. We didn't even tell each other. But yeah, it has been great, and we've had so many people come on board with us, and it's really gone from strength to strength. And if you're listening to this podcast, we have you pegged. There's a few people who haven't got the call just yet, because yeah, we knew that the women's series was coming, but the new year is going to bring on some great people that we follow and we keep our eyes on, and they engage with us all the time. And there's some really, really good people out there doing some really good stuff for good causes, and it's just amazing. It's been something that's phenomenal to grow with, and just see how great people are. And it's nice. We don't give people too much credit too often, but yeah, it's been lovely to see the good side.
Like, selfishly, I've gotten better because of the association with the podcast and everything else. Like, up until recently, like my Garmin was saying I was running an average of 4 runs a week and near like 42, 50K a week. Whereas before it was like, not too much runs throughout the year. And I guess the marathon, like 2 months before, a ton of runs, too much too fast. And then like a month before the marathon, no run because I got injured because I ran too much too fast, which is coincidentally, as I said out loud, is probably what a lot of people are going to do in January. And obviously we're going to talk about more of this when it gets to January, but it's like, just ease into what you're going to do. You don't have to achieve everything in January. It's just throughout the year, let it build, stay patient with it, and you'll get there, because you'll see it. People go in January, they go all out. I'm going to be in 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they just burn out. They crucify themselves in the gym because they have to get fit right now. And I guess that 3rd, 4th week of January, and it just doesn't happen. So build into it slowly. And not that we have too many kind of people out and about and talking throughout Christmas and New Year's, but people always talk about New Year's resolutions, their goals and stuff, and like, oh, the only way to lose weight is to run. And I think we've heard that a lot. Like, the only way to lose weight is to run and do cardio. Whereas like, no, there's most of it's really nutrition, but there's different things you could do. But if you don't enjoy it and build those habits, that's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, and as you're enjoying your Christmas dinner, we want you to remember, don't go for dessert. No, I'm only joking.
No, go for dessert.
Go for dessert. Have 2 of them. It is the time of the year.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, and enjoy the time with your families, your friends, if you can. I know we're limited, and a good excuse to meet up with people is to go for a Christmas run before dinner. So it's a good little excuse to get out of there. But be easy on yourselves, and don't set regimes for yourself for January. Set goals and be loose about them. Have a target. I want to at least run 1,000 kilometers next year. If it all happens in January, well done. But if
don't have the rest of the year.
But, you have a year, and a year is a very long time. So yeah, enjoy it. And from me, Sean, I think I'm going to finish up by wishing everyone a very happy Christmas. I hope them and their families have a great time. I hope everyone stays safe. I hope Santa is very good to absolutely everyone, and we all have brand spanking new running gear to take on January. And just want to wish everyone the best into the new year, and really looking forward to what next year's challenges brings for us as well.
Yeah, Deli, I suppose we'll wrap it up on that one. Those people that have listened throughout the rest of the year, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. It has grown from strength to strength, and we have seen different spikes and up and down. We're going to look at that between Christmas and probably the 2nd week of January, like Eric said. I think the 3rd Monday is the 3rd of January is the bank holiday. So we probably won't have a podcast out then. Maybe shortly after that, we'll build out a podcast then, see what you guys would like to listen to a lot more in the new year. Everyone that's been on the podcast throughout the year, thank you very much. To Rachel, that's hosted a lot of podcast episodes, especially in the last couple of months, who couldn't be with us today because it is her birthday.
She's so
Monday morning. It's also Monday morning in the States right now. Or sorry, in Australia right now. I'm saying the States. I'm looking at the States right now watching the football. But it's also Monday morning over there. And with that said, I'm going to watch the rest of this game, Eric. As you can tell, I probably let you talk a lot more than normal for obvious reasons. So I'm just going to say thank you to everyone once again for listening to the podcast throughout the year. A sincere thank you for that, guys. And we will talk to you in 2022. From myself and Eric, take care.
Bye-bye.